Okay, Ben, this will be my response. It was an enormous email that you sent me, and it just makes it so much easier for me to reply back in video form as a response to your email. Quickly, I looked over the final version. It looks great. Obviously I didn't read through the whole thing, but I just read a little bit of the introduction of what I spoke to you about, that you wrote up. And one thing that I would advise to make a slight change is you mentioned in the mind incorporates, obviously the combative aspects of the martial arts, the ego development. It incorporates intelligence. Intelligence is knowledge. It's ego, but it does not incorporate the wisdom. So I'd rather put the wisdom in the spirit section. So when you could say, just change it up and say that that the mind represents the combative development, the ego development, the intelligence, and then when it comes to the spirit, that will be the wisdom. The wisdom, what I see wisdom to be, is more of like your experience in life. You learn through experience, and that's part of the spirit. It's not like something that you learn from a book. It's just something that you learn through living, and that, as I see, is part of the spiritual development. If it's not a big deal, then just make that quick little change in the introduction. If it is a big deal, then just leave it the way it is. It's not that, people will figure it out. But either way, if you can make that little correction, that'd be good. I'm definitely very excited for this book to become published. I've been having several people ask me about, my published books, and I'm not really putting a heavy promotion towards the books that I have out there right now because I'm not satisfied with it. They're not edited, they're not organized the best way, and they're not really a good value for the money. So I want people to get a value for the money. Have a professionally edited book that has a good amount of pages, and this one looks like a really good one that I'm gonna really be excited about and excited to promote, and I'm excited for it to get started. If you could take control of the cover, that'd be great. Go ahead and take off with it. I really am more focused on the creation of new material opposed to editing old material or preparing for organizing books and stuff like that. I just can't. It's not in me to do it right now. It's not in me to do it in general. So if you could take control of the cover and come up with something where it's gonna be appealing and something that is a good representation that we could probably use as a basic design for all the series, that'd be great. So you could go ahead and go into the CreateSpace account. The password is the same as before. Yes, and if you could write that blurb, that description for the book, that'd be great. As far as new books are concerned, there is no particular area that I prefer for you to concentrate on. I think the mixture that you've talked about works well, opposed to having any book concentrate on any specific subject. I don't know. It's just something. I don't know. It's really hard to decide, but I like the way Osho, the disciples for Osho, have organized his ideas and his ways. They do break it down into subjects in a way, and they do a very good job with organizing his ideas. Breaking it down to subjects does make it a little more simpler for the readers to follow in order to get a more deeper understanding of a certain subject, but at the same time, for the editor, it's going to be a lot more difficult, especially when everything is everywhere, all these videos are everywhere, and there's new material coming out constantly. So that one's a hard one. Either way, I think it'll be okay. But in order for the public to get a deeper understanding of a certain subject, having a book focused around one subject can be a good option. But then again, you're doing this on your own, and I think it's not just about what's best for the public or the readers, but it's also about what is easiest for you and what you think. But for me, I think either way it goes, it could be fine. If we come out with a series and everything's mixed up as it normally is, then that's fine. I think what I think is important is that once a certain video or your certain topic or whatever is published, that it's not redone into other books, because then people, they don't want to be paying for the same material over and over again. They want something new. So that's the thing that I liked about the Osho books, is like every single time I'm purchasing his books, it's something new. It's not something that they're reselling the same chapter or reselling the same talk. It's all new from all the books that I have. So whatever we decide to do, if we decide to mix it up or if we decide to have a certain subject, then keep it new, keep it fresh. Don't reiterate something that's already been published in the book format. So if you gather up enough of information or enough of the philosophia on certain topics that can be sufficient to complete an entire book in itself, then that may be something to consider. So I think as you gather up all the videos and you transcribe them, then you'll have a better idea to see whether or not any of the subjects will fit well together and be published under one subject, or whether or not we should just stick to the spontaneous format that you have done with this one. And there's another thing I want to mention, something that you could look into as well. But I heard that there's some type of program out there. It might be called Dragon Writer or some type of program out there, some type of software that will transcribe videos for you. That will do it for you. So if we could find that software and then have them, just have the software run through the video and transcribe it and put it all onto writing, and then all you got to do is edit it from there, then that's something that will be a lot easier for you. So if we could find that software and if it works well, then that can make what you're doing a lot easier. I don't think that there should be too much of concern about the people that follow the YouTube videos and whether or not they will may have seen something recent that's already in book format that ends up being converted to book format. Because the fact of the matter is, for me especially, and I know there's a lot of people out there that are like me, I'd rather read than watch a video. So Osho has a lot of videos out there, but I'd rather read his books rather than watch the videos. And when you read a book, it's different. I mean, you could read it at your own pace. You could read it a few pages one day and then a few pages the next day. You could read it, stop, and then contemplate on what he said. Then you could reread it and reread it. It's just more meditative than watching a video, in my perspective. So I don't think it's a concern of basically publishing videos that have already publishing works from these videos and having a concern that people may have already came across that work. But more so, I think it's a good idea to do the best that you can to organize the ideas so then they are presented in a way where people could grasp a deeper understanding. because that's the problem with the videos, is that it's everywhere, and speaking on one subject and then the next thing you speak on something else. And if there's somewhere you could organize it where people could grasp the deeper understanding, that I think would help a lot. And going chronologically from beginning to present, it may be the best, because like I said, I gave up on the playlist thing, and if you start from the beginning to the present, then you'll know that you've gotten everything, opposed to going on the playlist. You don't know what you've missed and what you didn't, what you missed and what you didn't. So I think maybe starting to transcribe from the beginning until present, and then as you gather up enough work or enough of material, then you could just publish the book and then keep going forward from there, and just keep going and going. As you edit and publish these books, I'll be continually creating new material, so to have new material for you to work with. So you want to pump out these books as often as you comfortably can, while keeping the quality of the editing at a high level. And I think that's pretty much the way to go about it, opposed to formulating a certain book around a certain subject. That may be a little difficult, because there may not be enough material to work with if you just limit yourself to that way. But like I said, as you gather up the material, you could just assess it from there and figure out what's the best route. I think having your own Excel spreadsheet is a good idea. I think you've already started doing that anyway. If you could have your own Excel spreadsheet, get all the videos from the beginning up to this date, and check mark all the ones that have been transcribed and the ones that haven't, and then just basically from there, that could be your archive on what material you have to work with. And like I said, no matter if you mix it up or if you base the book around a certain subject, keep everything fresh and new. Don't republish anything a second time. Keep it one time, and once it's published, then move on to the next. I think that's the best route to go, and there's a lot to work with. But like I said, if we could get that software to make it easier for you, just something that you look out for that, and I'll try to look out for it too. That can make things a lot more smoother. Yeah, as far as the Zodiac thing, I think it was cute to have the kids stand next to the statues and read about the Zodiacs. I think the Zodiacs really do speak a lot about us, and how, and it kind of shows how everybody's so different, and that I think that I really do see that people can be born a certain way, that's natural to them, and I don't think that's something that you should frown upon or look down on, So I think it's a positive thing to see these differences in the people based on your zodiac sign and things like that. As far as the financial burdens, I mean, the Kun is doing a lot better. I mean, he's doing well. It's just that the restaurant is having a difficult time. But I think that a lot of people are struggling financially, and I just have to be smart with the way that I operate the Kun and make good decisions, and just keep this thing going as long as I possibly can. But no matter the financial situation, you should always be in the moment and just smile and have fun, have fun doing what you do. It's unfortunate that you live so far, because I could have very easily just like send you a video, because video camera, because I got so many that that I've went through, that I could just send you one. But it's just you live so far that the shipping will cost more than if you just purchase one on your own, But either way, when you do get that camcorder, it would be nice to see your introduction video and any other videos that you have to share in the future. It's unfortunate how society is structured and how people are treated based on their class and their status and things like that. When you're unemployed, they treat you a certain way. When you make a lot of money, they treat you a certain way. This is how the society is operated, and it's not going to change. This is something that we got to see, and then also realize within. And as long as we realize within ourselves that it's the human being that's important and not his class or his status, then right there you've already made a huge change. So. The thing about it, we're working together, because I come from the same, struggling class. That's pretty much where I come from, and that's where a lot of artists come from. That's where a lot of struggling artists come from. That's why they say the starving artists. A lot of artists, and even athletes too, performers, entertainers, a lot of them come from the struggling class. That's why they gotta entertain people. That's why they gotta do what they do, is because they come from the struggling class. They're not well off, and they gotta work hard. They gotta have, essentially, they gotta have great kung fu in order to rise above that, in which to make a change within their own lives and for the society around them. So, I say don't be negative about it, but see that it is a potential for growth. I think that for you to take on this enormous task of editing and publishing this material, maybe it's meant to be. That you just happen to be at a position in your life where you have the time and the drive to do it, and maybe you're meant to be the person to help spread this message. And whether or not income is generated from it, time will tell. But either way, things happen for a reason, and this is an enormous task that you're working on that is very meaningful. And I think that a spiritual person or somebody that really wants to help society and humanity, they end up doing a lot of things that other people are unwilling to do, and they end up in a way sacrificing a lot and maybe not being as well off, but fulfilling that inner drive to spread a positive message for the society and the world at large is something that money can't buy. And I think that's what just keeps people like us going and motivated to continue to spread a positive message. And time will tell where it will lead, but hopefully through enough effort and marketing, it will all pay off. I'm glad to hear that you're enjoying the lesson videos on the stance work. And yeah, that's something that's very much neglected in a lot of people's development in the martial arts and sports and athleticism, is they tend to skip over the leg development to the things that they really enjoy. So just get this down now, create a strong foundation, and then everything will be easier from here on out. thank you very much for the update, taking your time to write that enormous email, and I'm glad that things are moving forward, and I'm really looking forward for this book to be published, and I'm really looking forward to mass promotion of the book, of which I really am looking forward to people getting something, getting something real out there. And I look forward to continually creating and producing more new material for you to work with, and for you to edit and organize and put out there. So this will be the beginning. Just send me another email if you need me to look anything through, and then we'll go from there.